him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but I'm Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They call me Bobby Drake cause I'm cold with the pen. I run no diamonds but I still shine. You can dig me cause my bar's mine. My tracks flame like a Dalude. I order blood on my tongue, thinking it's a raw glue. I'ma throw with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist, but you smell me. One spark, then I bet you I'ma blow up. Just throw my name around, get stupid, then you go dumb. No rest for the weary. A rest is thinking in his man, but you can't see me. You rather drink, they gon' pull up. I'm drinking knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, call me brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I pour all the planks, you use Decepticons. Fake rappers to the streets like Cobra. 80s they can float, they like up in the storage and I'm E-Man. Up, down, down, then I'm cheating. You a beast, man. I take a beat in. Ninja Turtle rap, Turtle Clans get defeated. High samurai, you can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me, cause I'm a guy bomb. Bad attitude like a rocket, my whole to the A, and I bet you can't stop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mac coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. 7:30 in the morning, Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. You're from the West Coast. Get up. You already know that the early bird gets the worm. And I'm going to do a reaction video today. Christopher Priest on the Oblivion, I believe it's the Oblivion Bar podcast, where they interview Christopher Priest of the very controversial, because I got to show it, The World to Come comic. And I got it my damn self. Just because I wanted a physical copy of what I was seeing. I wanted a physical copy because I want to know, and this is coming from you guys. I want to know what you guys think in the chat, or if you're watching this on the replay. What do you guys think? Is the hate warranted, or do we have to hear Christopher Priest out when it comes to White Black Panther? We already know the Ryan Gosling memes was going everywhere. The Tyrone Magic of the world was just giddy and kikiing and all of that. Is this warranted? So again, I'm going to go over just the part Christopher Priest is talking about Black Panther, The World to Come, Is the hate warranted or is this hate unwarranted? Let's go. Let's get into it. Of course, hope you guys are happy. Hope you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant channel. But you already know how I do. The real question is, all right. Let me see who is all in the hizzy for shizzy to dizzy. All right, Eric Shaw, what's up? Good morning. Robin, Roberta, the church IT. Good morning. It's gonna be an early morning. I slept last night. I ain't even gonna lie. Gia Network. Good morning. Torian Rain Reloaded. Good morning. Sharita's in the house. Hey, Sharita. Good morning. Justice Notice up in here. Good morning. Rashad Walker. Good morning. And Roberta, I thank you so kindly. That's my favorite color. Michael Johnson. Good morning. Tina, aka Mitchigasm. I saw you yesterday over there kicking it. Over there for Father's Day kicking it. I've seen you. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Wavy Don Juan, good morning. He said, I go by Verde the Conqueror now. Okay, I got you. Yeah, hope it ain't South, say Verde. But yeah, so I know that Pantheon, Chillmonger, and Marcus from Back of the Bus, and Darius from Planet Fanatics kind of hinted to this, and I over the weekend, and I was like, yo, I want to do a reaction video to that, to what they're actually talking about, but not their perspective, because what I did not want to do was watch their video and then be influenced, because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I would do that. Sometimes I would watch something and then what they're saying in the back of my mind, and I don't want that to influence what I hear. So I chose to very much listen to a little bit, but I gotta just listen to the interview for myself, so I get my own critiques, my own commentary, and just actually hear Christopher Priest out what he's saying. Now I do know, and thanks to Chillmonger, he did say that White Black Panther is not canon to the main Marvel timeline, but I do want to hear what he has to say, especially he knew that this was going to be Black Backlash. He knew this. So I kind of just want to know what he thinks about that. All right. That's my big thing. Now, also, I don't know, and I know this is kind of hard, and I tried to get this the best way possible. I put a list of all the channels. Now, if you watch and if you go into the description of every video, is a list of every single is the channels that I rock with. And if I didn't put a channel down, that's my fault. You know what I mean? But I put every single channel down that I rock with. So make sure that you go and like, share, subscribe to the list of the channels that rock with me. I rock with them, and we do our thing. All right. Before I get to that, I just want to show y'all again. I kind of said this wrong the last time, but shout out to D Stizzle. What's up, Xavier Phoenix? Because D Stizzle makes this little short portion videos, and I kind of do my thing as far as adding it to my video, to my existing stuff, and I kind of edit it. The Butter Biscuits with RG3, he did that short portion, and then of course I took the video that he took and added my own splurge to it. But he sent me another one that I edited. So I want to show y'all this one. This is funny. So don't be surprised when I pop this one up.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Taste the biscuit, taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. To put that honey sauce on me, I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We now return to the Transformers.
I'm not gonna lie, I seen that and I was dying. I was dying. So now we got another one added to there. All we need is one more. I need him. I need him to pull a Stevie Knight. Rashad, hey man, hey, shout out to D Stizzle for making a little butter biscuit, little dance, and finding like another alternative version of that song. I think that's hilarious. And then I got this. Now this is one of the new super chats. I told you I was gonna have another gangbanging, so I want to show y'all this or whatever because this is gangbanging part 2. Shout out to Sway the remix guy.
Gangbang. You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
Gangbang. I like that. Gangbanging. Yeah. I just want to see what he gonna do with Stevie Knight. If he does a Stevie Knight, that's how I'm gonna drop my weights. I want to see what yeah, even I told y'all, I tried to tell everybody gangbanging is dope. But gangbanging got a remix. I tried to tell everybody gangbanging was dope. Now I got gangbanging part 2. You know what I mean? So shout out to Sway the remix guy. Mika G is in the house. What's up? Mika G, make sure, because it's now in the description of every video I have. Cinematic Nightmares podcast. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys are supporting Mika G over there with her podcast. Already got a list of interviews and everything lined up. So if y'all don't get it, I don't know what to tell y'all. Tripping. If y'all not subscribing, you know what I'm saying? To what she got going. She got stuff cracking. And when her channel blow, y'all, I'm telling y'all now, her channel gonna be one of the biggest channels out here when it comes to horror. I'm putting that out there now, so check that out. No, this is the channels that I have on here is all the channels locally that I communicate with. We collab together. So if you see all those channels that's on there, all those channels is the one that I collab with. You know what I'm saying? The local channels that you know that I support, or the smaller channels, except for Tori's channel is pretty large, but you know, since we collab so much, I had to make sure that Torian is in here. But those are all of the channels I collab with. You know what I'm saying? When I say I rock with them, I can hit them up. Hey, let's get on the show. Let's do our thing. And then I can count on them to come on here and do their thing. So, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why, you know, that's on that they're on there. You know what I'm saying? Cinematic Nightmares, Blues House, Chillmonger, Back of the Bus, Planet Fanatics, the Spoiler Kings. All of those are small. See, we get to, and there's nothing against bigger channels because, of course, everybody wants to be a big channel when they come on YouTube, whether it's through streaming, whether it's through videos, whatever. Everybody wants to be a big channel. And I feel like sometimes those smaller channels get put by the wayside because, oh, you don't have the following. So they could be doing excellent, dope work. Like we ourselves. Shout out to we ourselves. They do dope work. They don't really get that recognition, especially for bigger channels. You know what I'm saying? Bigger channels will come out and pull the smaller channels so we can all get big. And I'm going to tell you this for real. Like, and I was talking to, the people that I collab with as far as this YouTube space, we talk about this a lot. And what normally happens is when a channel gets big and they get big, right? What happens normally is that they only fool with the people they fool with, but they don't really go to other channels that's doing they say. And one thing that I also have a problem with that is normally when they look like us, they kind of forget the smaller channels. So again, shout out to Sanai for doing that the streamer university, because there was smaller streamers that was in there that was part of that university. Of course, you always go to the bigger people that was in there and all the drama because they're bigger channels, like Cooking with Kaya's and all of that. You know what I mean? They're bigger channels, but those smaller channels, the smaller streamers got a leg up that they probably wouldn't have got. So whenever I get big, I'm going back to get those smaller channels that's out there putting in work. You know what I mean? And I feel like the group that we got, especially like I said, a lot of us that was the part of the Law Avengers and all of that, that I feel like that we also do our thing. And when one of us get big, you know what I'm saying? All of us is big, because I'm going to pull, if I get huge, I'm going to pull, you know what I'm saying, the channels that rock with me when I didn't have nobody, I'm pulling them with me. You know what I mean? And I'm also going to go back, you know what I'm saying, and go back. I'm also going to go back and start looking at smaller channels to bring them aboard. You know what I mean? One of the channels that I have on there that's a smaller channel is the average, just the average girl YouTube channel, where she does a lot of gaming tech, toys, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of tech, like this is how you do this is how you do that. Like she like the video capture, dog, just average. She doesn't have a large channel. She has over 1,000 subscribers. Shout out to her. Go check out those channels, because I'm talking about a lot of something that I did not know how to do. Like I was kind of figuring it out. I just went to her channel. Bam. That's how we grow and learn. So shout out to her. Shout out to all the channels that I listen. Shout out to some of the channels, the bigger channels that I like doing react. You know what I'm saying? All of that. They get shouted out every time that I hit that at to them. They get shouted out. So they know what it is. So anyway, Nemo, let me read your question. You said, Dre, this fool say he didn't know T'Challa and Storm had kids. We're gonna get, like I said, I heard like pieces of it. I want to hear stuff myself and want to know exactly what's going on with this shit in the way that they frame the questions too, because there's a way that the frame of question, if you don't know or you're out of the loop, you might say yeah or no to something, but I gotta hear it in context for myself. So we go get into it. But before we get into this, let me shout out the people who keep this channel afloat, the crew who sponsors this channel. Let me make sure to shout them out. It will be, of course, right back. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that have been holding it down for Dre Mack and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. Go. Bye. And again, I gotta update this one too. You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody who is a member of the crew. Shout out, because you guys, y'all have no idea how much you guys, the investment, that you guys give, for being a part of the group, how much that helps out the channel so much. Y'all have no idea, and I appreciate you guys. Dr. James Willis, what's up? Dr. James is in the house. What is up? Or I like to call him Dr. J. What's up? Tracy Woods is up in here. Good morning. Andre Ware, aka the quarterback. What's up? Wavy Thames, what's up? Good morning to everyone. Before I get started, you already know that I'm highly invested in, mental health everything. I'm not sponsored by nobody. I'm not sponsored by Good Health or anybody. But in the description of this video, you will see there's information in there for mental health, especially for the men, since we're in Men's Mental Health Month. So give me a second. Let me shout out this Men's Mental Health Month. And if you need help, there's information below in the description of this video. Men's Mental Health Month. Let's go. This video is directed towards the men. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm bringing something to you guys. I want to let you know that you are needed and you are loved. Why am I talking to the men right now? Because 22% of us actually take our own lives every year in America, compared to only 6% of women. Men, I know that our jobs could be stressful. I know our families could be stressful. The things that we go through can be stressful, but let you know there's a brotherhood of people who want to see you get help. You are needed. You are loved. We are here for you. We're here for your family. Go get help. There's nothing wrong with going to get help. You're talking to somebody who kicks depression and anxiety's ass every day, and I'm also a survivor of almost committed suicide. So if you need any information, it's below in the comments. Vibe higher. All right, and again, if anyone needs any type of help, that information is in the comment section. Is in the description of this video. So make sure I'm trying to tell you, it's okay to not to be okay, and try to go get the help that you need. Trust and believe that. And listen to Rob from Comments Explain tell a story about the day Common Historian of course passed away. Benny, of course, that was Common Historian. You know, we don't know what's going on in people's lives. It's mine, Mika G, Blue, Chillbugger, Marcus, Pam Entertainment TV, no, any of us. We don't know what's going on. And sometimes, you know, we're here, of course, I'm here for entertainment. I'm here to entertain you, give you information, have you think, have fun, all of that. But if I'm going through, you know, I want somebody to be like, at least share some information with me so I can be able to go get the help that I need. And that's what I'm doing, you know, for you guys. So don't be afraid to go get help if you need it. All right. Deron, what's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. And of course, Cena, you know I appreciate you. I wish we could get back to doing the watch party too. But it's just work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not Rihanna. If I was, I'm a very ugly version. But anyway, Sheen is up in the house. What's up? Robin D is in the house. The admin. Good morning. All right, we've done enough. Let's get to this Christopher Priest interview. Again, I'm going to double times this because, you know, this is a long interview, so I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit and get this going. And let's see what's being said. All right, let me share my screen and we go from there. And again, if you guys you know, want to hit up the super chats or whatever, you most definitely could do that. But yeah, let's go. This is a Christopher Priest interview, and I got it right at where he's talking about the world to come. And let me ask you guys, is it because of the sensitivity of what Marvel is doing with not recasting T'Challa, with doing when you know, making T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman synonymous? Is that one of the reasons why we are very sensitive of what's going on in comics? You know, let me know in the comments or in the chat right now. Kind of let me know what you guys are thinking. All right, let's go. Let's hear what he got to say, and then I'm gonna give my commentary during this
last week. And I'm gonna go over the synopsis, and I have a question for you here. So the synopsis says the king of Wakanda is dead, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced technology, most precious metal, and a cryptic vault of dark secrets while triggering global conflicts among the Marvel heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone, the future of Marvel's 616 universe will be determined by a fatal tribal challenge for Wakanda's throne, and the mysterious victor will change Wakanda, the Marvel universe, forever. Now, Priest, you've written 60 issues of Black Panther. Does that include the annual? Why are you laughing? You're laughing right now. Why are you laughing?
No, because it's like I feel like it's an indictment against Bill. Now, Mr. Priest, is it true that you've written 60 issues?
Can you confirm nor deny these claims?
Yes,
that
you wrecked the roast at the Harold's Club? You're the pride or you're the pocket. Yes, I wrote 60-ish issues of Black Panther, plus I think a 10-pager or something for this.
You had an annual, right?
Yeah, I've been around the block, fellas.
That's right. So
now, of course, if you don't know who Christopher Priest is, he is the writer who took over the Black Panther comic that was dormant for 10 years. So let me kind of give you a timeline. So in 1979, I believe, was the last issue of Black Panther, right? Excuse me, was the last issue of Black Panther. M. Nemesis, good morning, good morning, good morning. That comic, and I'm gonna just make for sure, because sometimes I don't like to say something and I'm wrong. Matter of fact, my tablets, iPad right here. So let me just make for sure. But I believe 1979 was the last time we had the Black Panther comic until 1988. So just give me a second and I'm gonna put Black Panther. So I just want to be for sure. Oh, excuse me. Okay, that's not what I need. That's not what I want. I just want the runs. That's what I need. I need the comic runs. Oh, good God. Hold on. It might be in fandom. Okay. So the first, and I was right. I just wanted to make for sure. So you had the first run of Black Panther, which actually came in Jungle Action Comics, right? Jungle Action Comics number 6 is the first introduction of Black Panther. Oh, the first introduction in Jungle Action. The first introduction is in Fantastic Four number 52 and 53. Then you go to so that was the Jungle Action. He only had 18 comics in Jungle Action. So for issue 6 to 24 is the Black Panther run. And then you go over to Black Panther, Volume 1. Those issues ran to from 1977. This was Jack Kirby, 1977 to 1979, dormant to 1988. In 1988, had a 4-issue miniseries, and this is when Christopher Priest, this is before Christopher Priest offered it in the 1988 run. It was all about, it was the height of the apartheid in South Africa, and they tried to tie Black Panther and the apartheid to that. Then you go to the 98 run, and this is Christopher Priest run. So Christopher Priest run, which is considered volume 3. In that run, it was 62 issues from 1998 to 2003. Eric, Christopher Priest didn't introduce Shuri. Shuri got introduced during the Reginald Hunlin run in 2005. So that was that. It was a 2005 to 2008 run that we introduced Black Panther. And Shuri is in that comic because I have that comic, and he introduced the relation. He further explored and married Storm and T'Challa in that run. That's Reginald Hunlin's run. And if you don't know who Reginald Hunlin is also a director, the director and I believe co-writer, him and his brother, of the House Party, and a couple other films. But that kind of gives you a little heads up here. So when we look at Christopher Priest took over that run because it was getting ready to cancel Black Panther. because it was dormant for so long. That's why it was under the Marvel Knights line. So during that Marvel Knights line, it went from issue 1 to issue 12, I believe. And then after that, it was under regular Marvel title. And then he was able to write the remaining 50 comics under the regular Marvel Comics line. So kind of a little history of that. But we also give a lot of props to Christopher Priest because of everything he did to make Black Panther relevant. So with him doing the white Black Panther, is this warranted? That's why I wanted to give you kind of a history or whatever. What he's talking about right here, is this warranted? Let's continue, because I want to continue on this. Let's go.
Oh, I've heard you mention that this story has been written for a while. The World to Come has been in the works for a bit. How soon after finishing your Black Panther run in 2003 did you have this sort of new installment in the Marvel Knights universe? When did it pop into your head?
Oh no. Okay, no, it never popped. This is a Joe Quesada pop.
Okay.
There was a movie. You may have heard of it. There was a movie. Ryan Coogler put out this movie, Black Panther. I was consulted for the film, and I became aware of the film. And I said, well, I called up Marvel, and I talked to the editor there, the Black Panther editor, Will Moss. And I said, look, there's this movie coming out. I would really like to have a little Black Panther something. Just a little taste of Black Panther. Give me a little 10-pager or something. I'd like to have something in print with my name on it when the movie comes out. And Will was gracious enough to offer me a slot on a Black Panther annual, and we worked that story out. And that was great. But at some point,
what's up, Carol
because
Black?
I heard about this. We may have been talking about whatever. Joe and I are actually friends. We've been friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Joe made me aware of plans that were in the works to celebrate Marvel Knights' 20th anniversary or whatever it was at the time. So there was a big roadmap to this event that they were doing. So that's how that the germ of that idea had. And then we started talking about the Panther plot as it began to develop. And then a lot of that was really just Joe just going, and I was like, Joe, I just wanted to do a little thing. And he's turned it to this incredible waste of time. It's like, hundreds of pages, and there's going to be all these explosions, and it's all, this world of evil, and so it's really, thanks to him and having this much larger than life vision, and then dragging me by the heels.
Well, when you were talking,
So it sounds like to me that Joe Quesada was the one who was pushing. Like Priest wanted just a little bit, but it seemed like Joe Quesada was the one who was really like, hey, we're going to do this, that, and the other. So was Joe Quesada, and my question, well, of course, if I ever interview Chris Priest, my question would be, were you the one who decided to throw the curveball with a white Black Panther? What's going on? And him being old and dying, especially after everything that has happened with Recast T'Challa. I don't even think that I don't know, but I don't even think they brought that up. And the impact of losing Chadwick, Marvel deciding to just eliminate the character, and how that will affect the reader who was wanting Black Panther, but now reading another comic where he's gone. And then now all these anti-recasters can be able to use that as ammo and a white Black Panther. That's the questions I would love to ask him. Let's keep going.
We're talking about the anniversary and sort of bringing back the Marvel Knights imprint in some form or another. Are we talking about the Donny Cates? Was it like a mini series that was out a couple years ago where you had all the different heroes pop in together again? I don't know if you remember that from a couple years ago. I want to say it was like 2017, maybe.
I remember that.
I have no knowledge. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I must have missed that one.
It was a mini, and I think it was like relatively successful, but I was just curious because it would have been perfect. I really wish that something like this, and again, this is great. I'm not.
Yeah, this was like 2017, 2018, something like that. Now, over the years, since they canceled Black Panther, when I was on it, Black Panther was always struggling for sales when I was on it. And then at some point, Marvel said, we have a great idea. Let's get rid of T'Challa and let's recast this, Black Panther as Vin Diesel. So we had this other guy, Casper Cole. And
so I want you to go back. Listen to what he just said. Let's listen to what he said. They were trying to and I said this earlier. They were trying to cancel Black Panther a long time ago. But listen to the way he said it.
So it's really, thanks to him and having this much larger than life vision, and then dragging me by the heels.
Well, when you're talking about the anniversary and sort of bringing back the Marvel Knights imprint in some form or another, are we talking about the Donny Cates? Was it like a mini series that was out a couple years ago where you had all the different heroes pop in together again? I don't know if you remember that from a couple years ago. I want to say it was like 2017, maybe.
I have no knowledge. I'm sorry. I must have missed that one.
It was a mini, and I think it was like relatively successful. But I was just curious because it would have been perfect. I really wish that something like this. And again, this is great. I'm not.
Yeah, this was like 2017, 2018, something like that. Now, over the years, since they canceled Black Panther, when I was on it, Black Panther was always struggling for sales when I was on it. And then at some point, Marvel said, we have a great idea. Let's get rid of T'Challa and let's recast this, Black Panther as Vin Diesel.
Let's get rid of T'Challa and recast this as Vin Diesel, which was Casper Cole. They were trying to get rid of T'Challa a long time ago. This is nothing new. Now, at the time, struggling for sales, and of course, my favorite comic book character, Deadpool, went through almost the same situation because they were trying to cancel Deadpool too. There's a whole comic where Deadpool is with other characters and Black Panther is in that comic where they're all at the end, or basically they're at the end of their runs, and I think Christopher Priest wrote this, where they're basically at the end of their run and they're already getting ready to go basically to the slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? Deadpool, Black Panther. There was a lot of comics. They were trying to trim the fat at Marvel, and Deadpool was one of them. And Deadpool survived, I think, because after Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, all those guys left, they were trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. And Christopher Priest wrote the Cat Trap. I know he wrote the Cat Trap because it's Black Panther number 23 and Deadpool number 45, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But the Marvel's Knights line was the last line of defense for those characters. So what he's saying there, I've already had knowledge with. But they were trying to replace T'Challa way back in the early 2000s, is what I'm saying. And this is what I start talking about derivatives, right? When you have derivative characters, that's because at one point in time they were probably trying to get rid of this character. He's and Marvel is, see, DC, I would say DC doesn't do that. They're not going to get tired of Batman and just try to replace Batman with Batgirl or Nightwing or Red Hood or whoever. They won't do it. Same thing with Superman. Even the death of Superman, they weren't going to get rid of Superman with Superboy or the Eradicator or Steel. They were never going to do that. Marvel has no problem showing you a derivative character and sidelighting one of their main characters for a minute. Logan. They did it with Laura. You know what I'm saying? And Dakin. You know what I mean? As derivatives of Wolverine. You know what I mean? They have no problems with that. You know what I mean? They have no problems. And I think this is the biggest problem with Marvel. Agent X. You're right. Thank you, D Stizzle. Agent X, and I got that comic. A waste of time. Trust me, Agent X is a waste of time. And I was so hyped. And I think I have an Agent X comic that is signed by Rob Liefeld in my collection. And like I said, I have so many comics that I have no room in my room. They're all in my closet, my supply closet, because I have no room to put them. You know what I'm saying? So, I got to just pull them out when I can. And then I got to go through a mountain of toys I can't put out because I have no room for those either. So, what's up, Cash, Kid, Even? But yes, D Stizzle, they tried to. You know what I mean? They tried to. But anyway, let's keep going. I don't want to go so far, but yes, they try to get rid of those characters in Marvel. Let's keep going.
So we had this other guy, Casper Cole. And it was kind of an interesting little experiment, and I like that character, and I wouldn't mind seeing that character again. But that was Marvel saying, this is what we want to do. And if you don't want to do it, we'll get somebody else to do it. We understand we'll get somebody else to do it. And, I was like, well, there goes.
Hey, they're telling you, if you don't do it, Christopher Priest, we'll find somebody else to write that character. This is, again, I tried to say this when it came to recast T'Challa. I was like, we can blame Ryan Coogler. We understand where Ryan Coogler is coming from, right? But the executive producers and the people that's behind the scenes, the people at Marvel, the people at Disney, that's who you really need to be looking at. And the reason why you need to be looking at that, because if they didn't want the character in the first place, no matter how much money it was making, they're not going to keep that character for a reason. And it's Marvel. And what's so crazy, and we've talked about this plenty of times, when it comes to T'Challa became so popular. I don't think Marvel, I believe for a 1,000% fact that Marvel did not want that Negro comics to, I'm sorry. I don't think they did. They didn't want it to be as popular as Captain America or Iron Man, and it so happened to be. You know what I mean? And maybe this is a theory of mine. I'm not saying this right, but this is just something that I'm feeling. And what if, and I'm just saying what if Ryan, let me just say it like this. God, I don't want to say this, but what if Ryan got rid of T'Challa, because he knew, and remember I said they were trying to get rid of T'Challa anyway and replace it with Shuri because Chadwick wanted more money. But what if, and I'm saying this hypothetically, I don't know if it's true, that he let T'Challa, pass on with Chad because of what they were getting ready to do to the character. If they were going to bastardize the character, whatever, what if that is the case and he tried to save T'Challa that way? And I know that sounds weird. Now get what I'm saying on this. If I know you're getting ready to do something absolutely crazy with this character, so I'd rather eliminate the character before you destroy this character in front of our face. I know that sounds wild, but just listen to what he said. If you don't do it, we'll find somebody else to do it. I'm not saying that that's the case, and I'm not making any excuses or anything like that. Don't get it twisted. But if I got this, if I got this baby, and I know you're getting ready to do something wild, with this, and I got this story, and what if Marvel, the heads of Marvel's like, well, if you don't tell the story, then he want all this money. If you don't do this, we will. And that's the reason why Kevin Feige came out and said we would not recast the character of T'Challa. Like he supersedes any iteration. I wonder, did he say that because they wanted to preserve what greatness that we had at T'Challa before they totally delist this character, destroy this character? If you get what I'm saying. So, like I said, it sounds weird coming out, but it's almost like I'd rather sacrifice it than to let you destroy it forever. I know it sounds weird, but I mean, that's just a thought. It is just something that popped in my spirit. I don't know. You know what I mean? But if I kind of feel that, like, if you, especially again, Chadwick asked for more money. And now we know Chadwick was slowly, passing away from cancer. And what if Ryan said, I know what y'all getting ready to do, so I'd rather honor my, I'm not making excuses. I'm not, because I still don't think that was the right move, but I'm not Ryan, and I cannot hate Ryan for his, because it's his decision. I could be upset about it. I can't hate the man, but I let me say it like this. If they said, look, Ryan, Chad asked for more money. We're not doing all of this. So either you make sure he's the Black Panther, or we'll find somebody to make sure he's the Black Panther, because we're not paying him the way he's coming. He's like, well, I got the story that I want to do. Look, I'm telling you now, you better do something or else. Right? They gave him a mandate. Why do you think, and this is just my thought. This is just my thought. Why do you think he was so headstrong about making his own IP? I'm trying to put it together and make it make sense. You know what I mean? But why do you think he was so, and after watching the deleted scene, the deleted scenes, the behind the scenes of Sinners, his wife was like, he was head first into this project, like from the beginning to end, because what do you say? His wife is the editor. She reads all this stuff and make sure that it's right or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. A team. That's a dynamic team. So what if he got that mandate and was like, I'd rather just, it didn't, it not saying it was a perfect storm, but with Chad actually passing away, which a little piece of me feel like there's no way that Ryan is saying me and him is just so close and we're so this, and he did not know that. He did not know that. This is just my thoughts. So with this, it was like, I'd rather honor my friend in the beauty that he was as this character before they do something ridiculous. So let me just do this, and this is what it's going to be. And again, I'm not making excuses, but what if Ryan came to Kevin was like, dude, what the, I can't work under these conditions. They really want to get rid of this character because Chad wanted more money, and now that he's gone, I don't even have my main lead to do this movie with. And I don't like the way that Bob Iger, because remember, Bob Iger was the head of Disney at that time, who was making those decisions. We heard what the investor said about black-led stories. And what if Kevin was like, dude, we'll just get rid of T'Challa in every iteration so they don't bastardize him. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm, again, just because of just what Christopher Priest just said makes me think that's how I operated. I might not like it. I might not truly a piece of me wants to not understand, but that makes the most sense to me. So the last thought process that you have is, this is what we had as T'Challa. But before you bastardize him, whatever the hell you was getting ready to do, I want that to be the lasting impression of T'Challa. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever. I just said that's just what it. Let me keep going, because now it. Oh God, Lee. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
There goes the rent money. So yeah, I'll do it. So that's how I ended up doing Casper Cole.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Now, over the years, since they canceled Black Panther, when I was on it, Black Panther was always struggling for sales when I was on it. And then at some point, Marvel said, we have a great idea. Let's get rid of T'Challa and let's recast this, Black Panther as Vin Diesel. So we had this other guy, Casper Cole, and it was kind of an interesting little experiment, and I like that character, and I wouldn't mind seeing that character again. But that was Marvel saying, like, this is what we want to do. And if you don't want to do it, we'll get somebody else to do it. You understand, we'll get somebody else to do it. And, I was like, well, there goes the rent money. So yeah, I'll do it. So that's how
So he had to do Casper Cole because he still got to pay his bills. How many times have we heard this, that there a lot of these writers and actors are in a predicament where they're like, look, I got to do it or else. You know what I mean? And, oh yeah, Diesel, you're absolutely correct.
That's how I ended up doing Casper Cole. And then, at the conclusion of that, they were like, well, the numbers still aren't going up. This was just us still chasing numbers instead of accepting the fact that this is what our audience was, at the time. So it really wasn't until Reginald Hudlin took over. And they relaunched the book with John Romita Jr. and Reginald Hudlin. And then Reggie not only wrote it.
I'm not lying. A lot of people don't give Reggie his props. Reginald Hudlin's run is really good. I don't know why nobody gives. I know he's coming from the back of Priest. So you go all the way for that Priest run for 72 issues to Reginald Hudlin's run. But Reginald Hudlin's run was really good. My personal, especially, and I know people are going to say, well, they took him out of Wakanda, for a while or whatever. And we got to see him in, in New York and all of this. But as far as the storytelling goes, it's not that bad at all. Like, it's a lot better than it's a lot better than what we had currently, but it's not bad.
Wrote it brilliantly, but he went out and sold it. I mean, in ways I could not, because I didn't have access to those type of venues. We could go on the Steve Harvey show, we could go on these other venues, and just start, and just talk it up everywhere.
Reginald was he the CEO of BET at the time, or what was his involvement with BET?
I don't remember exactly when he took over. He became the president of BET.
I think he was the I think he was an executive at BET. What's up, Tyler J? The head of he was the head of entertainment. And the reason why I know that is the Boondocks, because they made fun of Reginald Hudlin. You know what I mean? But he was the head of he was the head of creation and the head of the studio at BET. So
BET.
Okay.
I think the time frames intersected. I'm not.
What's up, Tyler J?
You have to look those things up. But the point is that it became a commercial success. It was already a critical success, when we were doing it, but it became a commercial success once Reggie came in and sort of cleared out the cobwebs and streamlined stuff, and then he went forward and promoted it. So that's kind of how all that took over. So over the years, I've been approached several times by Marvel to kind of
what's up, boycott activation,
with the character or whatever like that, and I really felt very strongly that
or Activision.
I had my shot with Black Panther. I enjoyed my time with Black Panther, but at some point I had catapulted Black Panther into outer space. And I remember seeing that book in print, and I saw like Black Panther in space, and I said to myself, "Okay, you've officially jumped the shark. You've officially run out of ideas."
So of course we're talking about T'Challa, the intergalactic empire. If you've read that comic or you have some of those comics, tell me what you think in the comment section or in the chat. If you actually like the Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Black Panther, let me know in the comments. Christopher Priest said he jumped the shark. Do you agree? Put it in the comment section below.
And it's time for Black Panther to belong to Regeneration. So, Joe getting me to suit up for this was no small task. And I was like, well, I'm happy to sort of look over your shoulder and advise you, let you write it. And he was like, no, I really want your participation. I really want you in here, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of, fussing back and forth. But at some point we stumbled onto a story that I thought I could tell, or that I could help him tell, that we could tell together, however you want to phrase it. That was unique, that was adding to the legend, that wasn't just me making or me or Joe making a money grab, that this is actually a quality piece of work that's worth reading, and so forth. So that's how I kind of ended up finally saying, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But yeah.
So Joe Quesada's idea with Christopher Priest piggybacking. My question is, who White Baby is that, and who came up with the idea? Was it Joe Quesada or was it Christopher Priest?
It was I've seen writers, I will not name any of them, none of them named Tom King, but I've seen writers who have made their mark with a character, left, come back to that character and stumble. And it's painful to watch, and I was like, I didn't want to come back to Black Panther, like do Black Panther Monthly, for example, and then have people go, it's not as good as it was back then. I'm just, yeah. So that's basically the backstory.
Sure. Well, I'd like to ask a little bit about Katama. Katama.
Yep.
Without giving away any, a ton of spoilers.
The E is pronounced Ah. Ta-Nehisi Ross.
Yeah.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Katama.
I wonder, is that a shot to Ta-Nehisi Coates? But of course, we know who Katama is, the White Baby. Yeah, what's that? WWBIT. Who White Baby is that? That's who Katama is. So let's see what he gets to say about Katama real quick.
Katama.
So without giving away,
named after an actual guy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. We want the details.
All right. Before I do that, let me just take a quick break because I gotta get something to drink, and I will be right back with more of this interview.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. To get that honey sauce on me, I don't like the way it tastes. My chicken wings.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right, let's keep going. I just needed to get some. My throat was like
details. We want all the details. I just want to try and avoid spoilers as best we can because we want,
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. We entered this story seeing that there's a definite rift between the old King T'Challa and his son. There's mention of both Storm and Monica Lynn in this issue, whom we know, T'Challa has children with. Does this potentially set us up for a fight for the crown?
Well, I'm going to embarrass myself now. Are you saying that T'Challa had a child with Storm?
He said, well, so canonically, he's had a couple children with Storm.
Okay, not canonically. That's wrong. Canonically, in the 616 universe, he has never had a child with none of them, with nobody. Matter of fact, Just give me just a second, and I'm gonna tell you exactly where these people. Oops. Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. All right, so let me just give you this timeline. All right, so in the main continuity, he has never had children. Never had children, right? But in alternate universes, he has Azari, which was that was 2010s, like in Avengers in the alternate Earth. They had Azari. He had hold on. Give me just a second. Hold on, because I missed a list. Because there's a list of yeah, so across continuities, never in the 616, never in the main continuity. He had several sons, including Azari, Tataka II, T'Chari, T'Chana. Azari came from Avengers of Tomorrow, which was a like a cartoon, but in the main now the white baby, but the WWBIT, you know what I'm saying? Who white baby is that? So those are the children that he has had throughout comics, but not in the main continuity. You know what I mean? Not in the main continuity. Let me say that again. Not in the main continuity. And then we also gotta we gotta add Toussaint into that too. You know, we gotta add Toussaint to that. So hold on, I think Phantom actually had it. All right. So Cold Tiger, T'Chaka II, Kishamba, T'Chana, Fada, Azari, T'Challa Jr., and WWBIT. So, all right.
Shuri is like, it's not spelled the same way as Shuri. It's SH''RI. You have Chimera, you have Azari, who I think we actually see in the MCU, who's actually named T'Challa as well, but they don't call him that. And there's Tawari as well. Those are the ones that I know of.
So he's got like a whole little like
he's got a litter.
Yeah, he's got a litter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not in Marvel Knights. Not in our universe. No, gotcha. In our universe, he has the child that he is apparently having the dispute in when we meet him in this issue. So we have wandered off from that continuity because I'm dumb and wasn't aware of it.
No.
So he said we have wandered out for that continuity. So what they're saying, they're not explaining it right. In the main continuity, in the 616, he never had any kids. In alternate universes, he's had children, right? So let's just put that out there. But even in this, they're saying we're wandering off from that continuity. So no, there is no continuity, main continuity where T'Challa has kids, and now this Marvel Knights line, this world to come, is not part of the continuity of the 616. Let's keep going.
Continuity is I've always said that like people who stick too strictly to continuity, they're handicapping themselves from a good story. Canon should be like a tool. It shouldn't be a law, right? So I love the fact that you did that. I was just curious because I know that was it Reggie that actually introduced a lot of the children? I actually don't know.
It had to be him.
No. No. Reggie didn't introduce nobody. Reggie introduced the marriage of T'Challa and Storm, but they did not have a kid. So, and again, I understand these guys are interviewing, but they don't even know what the hell they're talking about as far as the actual comics. Like, I wish I would have had like Comics Explained, you know what I'm saying, ask these questions, because these questions are asinine because they're mixing it up. And Christopher Priest ain't in the know like that, so he don't know what other writers are doing. This is trash. But the question is trash.
Well, no, because I just philosophically, as I see the character.
What's up, Jared? What's up, William? Sure.
I have a real problem with these heroic characters or comic book characters.
What's up, Mr. Moody?
Not necessarily having children, but it just I think once you start moving too far away from the lore of what makes this character great or whatever, It's kind of like when you start pandering to the audience, where you're instead of bringing in new readers, you're following the old readers out of middle school into high school, and out of high school into college, and out of college into adult life. And we're writing stories that reflect that. And I guess there's really nothing wrong with that, except now nobody's recruiting 8-year-olds. Where are their stories? What's going to draw them into? An 8-year-old doesn't want to read about a married potato man who has children. So I probably wouldn't have gone that way. But it's not to criticize Reggie, but Reggie came over and his version, his volume of Black Panther was a complete jumpstart.
Yeah.
Some of my characters showed up in there, but they were very different. They had different timelines, sort of like that. So this thing, The World to Come, connects to our Black Panther. It really connects to Black Panther number 12, which is where we left off with Marvel Knights. So 13.
What's up, Azelle? So I think I don't think he's hating, on Reggie's run, but I think he's confused because they confused him with the question. Is that he believes that Reginald Hudlin introduced children to the Black Panther mythos, which he did not. He did not. And of course, that has nothing to do with Christopher Priest. He didn't know. But the people that are looking at are asking these questions, just say, no, Priest, let me give you, pull out your iPad, or you know what I'm saying, and say, no. This is not a continuity. This is this, that's the other. They really open-ended that question to make it seem like this man just got kids all over the place, like he a baby daddy.
13 through 60, whatever, the MCU Black Panther. That some of that is referenced in here, but that's Sal Valuto, Bob Allman, myself. That's a whole different crew. That's Tom Brevoort Black Panther. Joe Quesada Black Panther is what we're talking about, and we're connecting to that.
Joe Quesada.
I want my superheroes running around just Zeusing it up.
Joe Quesada's Black Panther, and again, I wish I could. Matter of fact, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out and see if I could get Christopher Priest, or whether the Blurred AF or the Dre Mac show, because he's probably hot as a fucking firecracker right now. Sorry, Roberta, just because of WWBIT. You know what I mean? So that's just because I would love the answer, because I think that this was so open-ended and they didn't explain anything. So he's just going off of what they're saying and what he believes. But I just don't like the way that they answer that, because it just opened it up for nothing.
I want to be careful what I say, because I run my mouth too much and I get in trouble, and then I get the phone call, and it's some vice president, and they're pissed at me because we're trying to sell comic books here. We don't appreciate you, So I just want to be careful.
You've been around the block. You've seen a lot of things, so it's hard not to like.
And then again, Joe Quesada. This is Joe Quesada. What Christopher Priest is saying, Joe Quesada, this is book. I'm just here so I can get me a check. What it sound like? That's why he said I don't want to get myself in trouble. In the Stargate, you said the white characters in attempt to downplay T'Challa, but Killmonger is some way as well. Think about it. I agree. I agree. And I need to go into my comic book collection, see if do I have Black Panther for Marvel Knights number 12 to see where that ends off at.
To have a pretty decently strong opinion about some of this.
Yeah, but the problem with being around the block is that you've been around the block. So the people who are trying to make this work now, the generation that has that responsibility, they're trying to keep the lights on at these places, and then you have our retailers, our front line of defense. These are people. These are not big corporate entities. These are mom and pop. These are small business owners. They have high rents, low margins, and a lot of pressure to you need to order 100, Duckman to get the foil variant, one copy of the foil variant. It is a lot of this math where every month our retailers are sitting there with the catalogs, and it's like a racing form, and they're trying to decide what to bet the mortgage on this month. And I have a lot of empathy for that. These are the real superheroes. But I want to be careful. I want to get up here and go, don't buy a Duck Boy this month. It really sucks. I really don't appreciate that. He got married. I don't want to read a married Duck Boy.
We're huge proponents and big believers in the brick and mortar comic shop. We believe that those need to exist. It's fun to have community online. I think that's got its own certain level of importance, but there's honestly nothing like going to your local comic shop on Wednesday and picking up the latest issue of The World to Come that I have right here. I went to my local comic shop and people were excited about it, which is why I wanted to ask you that question earlier about sort of what your thoughts were on the reception. And from my view, what I could see from my local comic shop was that when I popped in, the very first issue that I saw was The World to Come, and they don't do that for just issue 7 of Spider-Gwen or whatever. Not to dissuade anybody from reading Spider-Gwen, but people are excited about this. Yeah, Spider-Gwen's great. So You know, and something you sort of mentioned it earlier, and I want to sort of build off this a little bit. You know, something I really loved about your Black Panther run is that you kind of confirmed this thought that I've had about the character since becoming a fan, and it's that he's not a superhero, right? He plays the role of superhero for diplomatic reasons, but at the end of the day, he's a monarch of, you know, the wealthiest or one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and those relationships that he has with the Avengers and some of the American heroes are important to maintain. And I think also Jonathan Hickman does a pretty good job with this in his Avengers run, showing T'Challa as a monarch first, right? But my question for you is, this book is not advertised. The World to Come is not advertised as a Black Panther book. It is advertised as a Marvel Knights book.
How about that?
Does that mean that we're going to get some more MK-focused characters showing up in this series, the 6-issue series?
No comment. I got in trouble. I got in the article. We were talking. I had an interview. We started wandering off, as I tend to do, and we started wandering off into other things. And I mentioned this Inhuman series that I did with Phil Noto that I really loved. Teenagers, and they come to New York and they run into Spider-Man, you know, back in the 60s, you know.
Okay, so
you know, and I said something about Lockjaw, and I was like, you know, well,
okay, so I'm gonna end this portion real quick, and I'm gonna just, now that, oh, that's crazy that I could use, hold on, because that mug is connected to, now my iPad is connected. I got all kinds of stuff going on right quick. So I'm going to pull up just real quick the conversation that Chill and Darius and Marcus had from the Patreon about this subject, and then I'm a wind this thing down and kind of get your guys' thoughts on this. I need to find this. Because he Chill did a excellent job of pulling this out, and I think this is okay. That's not the one that I want. I think they made a, hold on, I think Chill made a video about this, so give me just a second. Let me find that video real quick and then react to that. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. Hold on. Hold on. Give me just a second. Let me get this back on here. And this is from Pantheon, so let's respond to this. Again, it's sped up a little bit, so let's go.
Gallman wasn't aware of it.
No. Continuity is I've always said that, like, people who, you know, stick too strictly to continuity, handicapping themselves from a good story. You know, canon should be like a tool.
I hate that.
Shouldn't be a lull, right? So I love the fact that
I don't know what the fuck this guy's
I know
talking
that,
about.
you know, wasn't Reggie that actually introduced a lot of the children? I actually don't know. I know
it had to be him. Because I just philosophically, as I see the character, I would not have done that.
Just a reminder, like, when people say things like that, talk about canon, talk about what's important, what's not important. Oh, this was written in the comic, this and that. He doesn't care. Writers don't give a damn about stuff like that. They did not read Marvel Voices from 2020. They didn't read all these different. They don't care. What he said though is strong enough evidence for everyone to go and say, fine, it's not the same universe. And is it even his kid? He said it appears to be his kid. Like, Christopher Priest created something for the sake of the shock value, and everyone is falling for it. It is Marvel Knights, and it is not Marvel Comics. And there's one more clip. And go ahead.
So I agree, but if I don't know what part of the conversation that he had, but you know, just going back, now we know that Joe Quesada is the one who came to Christopher Priest while he's just trying to get a little bit of credit for the Black Panther movie, and that's when they came out with this idea. So this is really Joe Quesada's book. If we break it down, I think Priest is only on there for. I'm not saying that he doesn't, you know, he's contributing to it. I'm not saying, but it's really Joe's book, and Priest is putting his own 2 cents into it too. You know what I mean? But obviously, he said he came up with this 1,000-page script, you know, to make this book, and this is where we're at. So if we have to blame anybody, we got to look at Joe Quesada also, not just Christopher Priest.
Go ahead. Someone want to say something?
I think that I always figured that there was going to be some sort of fake out around this, right? Like that wasn't the issue. The issue is that he is so unaware of what's going on with this IP, which makes me think it don't really mean that much to him, to be honest.
He said in this interview that Marvel Knights was on its 20th anniversary when they pitched this, and then it didn't fall through. Now Marvel Knights is on the 25th anniversary, and he's like, yeah, same idea, boom. That's why
they called him back. Yeah, he's so unaware that he doesn't even understand why they chose him now. Like, I get it. He's an older gentleman. He doesn't have social media. We know that. So, like, not being keyed in on everything that's happening in Black Panther discourse, I get it. I understand that. Not knowing that your contemporaries wrote children for him, at like any of them, like nobody in any iteration of the character that you wrote the most in a continuous fashion, that this tells me that you don't really care about it, man. Like, you don't.
Yeah, he doesn't really care.
You don't really care about none of that. So
well, and to piggyback off of what Marcus is saying, he literally said, you know, with the Casper Cole thing, if you don't write it, we'll find somebody else. Would you care if your check was on the line, if your rent was on the line? Let's be honest. Writers, especially comic writers, I've heard this a lot from comic writers. Comic writers probably have the hardest, right? So a lot of these comic writers, man, just be writing shit so they can be able to pay the rent next week. They're trying to write a good story, but if it's just like, if they're giving you an ultimatum, you think you go write the best story, not saying that it's the right or wrong thing to do, but can you understand that?
That's the more upsetting part about it to me. I'm not falling for the bait. The fact that you would even use that as the shock value, number one, is off for me. And then number two, you don't get it. You don't understand that you're being used, that they're making a tool of you. And that's even more upsetting.
He doesn't understand. I made a point of how this story would be received better if all the stuff surrounding Black Panther wasn't happening.
Absolutely. This is the wrong time. There's a reason why you've been sitting on this story since 2007. There's a reason why.
Not 2007.
That's when it first. That's when.
Joe Quesada, Snapshot Reviews. It's Joe Quesada.
When we were reading about it on Sunday, they said he had created this story. He first brought it to Marvel in 2007.
No, maybe 2017, but not 2007.
I think you're talking about when they were first going to have like the Marvel Knights thing, what you just mentioned, the first Marvel Knights anniversary.
Okay. Yeah, you could have read something.
The actual story, he wrote it back like a long time ago.
All right. Yeah, it's 2007. Well, I'll take two beats one. So you're right.
18 years you've been sitting on this story, fam. Why now? Why would they want this story now?
Here's some more about the Marvel Knights.
The world to come connects to our Black Panther. It really connects to Black Panther number 12, which is where we left off with Marvel Knights. So 13 through 60, whatever, the MCU Black Panther, that, you know, some of that is referenced in here, but that's Sal Bellotto, you know, Bob Allman, myself, that's a whole different crew. That's Tom Brevoort Black Panther. Joe Quesada Black Panther is what we're talking about, and, you know, we're connecting to that.
You see, and this is just a replay of what we just listened to. Joe Quesada's Black Panther. He said Joe Quesada's Black Panther. He said Joe Quesada invited me back in. He had all of this. Joe Quesada wanted me to do this. Not Christopher Priest. Joe Quesada's Black Panther. It's coming right out the horse's mouth. Just got to read between the lines. And I'm doing this without any emotion or anything like that. I'm just listening for context.
That earlier series.
Sure. Yeah, I don't want my superheroes running around just Zeusing it up, you know, all over the you know? Yeah.
I want to be careful what I say because I run my mouth too much and I get in trouble and then I get the phone call, you know, and it's, you know, it's some vice president and they're pissed at me because, like, you know, we're trying to sell comic books here. We don't appreciate you, you know. So I just want to be careful. The world to come.
And like I said, man, I don't know how old Christopher Priest is, but he got to be old. You know what I'm saying? And again, I understand what Marcus is saying. You know, he's not tapped in because he's writing other comics and stuff like that. So he probably was like, okay, I'm off of Black Panther. I wrote my run. I'm done. Everybody else, they can do their thing, but I'm done. Does it hurt when you hear it? Because you feel, and this is the take that I'm coming from it. It hurts because you like, there's so few Black people in this space that you have to be guarded with the Black content that we have. So I get it. At the same time, some people is like, man, I just write and I don't care who the character is. I just want to write these particular stories and all of that. And then I'm off. You know what I'm saying? I'm off of it. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get both sides. But I'm not going to eat the man's lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I understand both sides.
If what he said there doesn't, like, it hurts them, like he just admitted it's not canon. He broke down, well, Marvel Knights, that imprint was supposed to be separate from 616, and then after issue 12, it started becoming canon. Everything he just said right there, I see him getting that phone call from saying, we're supposed to be selling books. You can't tell people it's not canon. There we go. That puts an end to the canon discussion. You know what's still happening? Another Black Panther character who's not T'Challa, and they minimized the importance of the greatest Black character that's ever happened. And we're tweeting recast T'Challa on July 1st. Schedule your tweets now. We're gonna make it trend again. July 1st is the anniversary of the first appearance of Black Panther. It was in a Fantastic Four comic book. Talk about why you think he's important. Don't mention Shuri or anything that allows people to say, you just hate women. Just talk about how important the character is, why he should continue. Chad is not a gatekeeper, that kind of stuff on July 1st. What Christopher Priest did is only an issue with me. The white thing, yeah, fine, we can have an issue with that in a different world. But right now, I'm mad at it because, damn, another character called Black Panther? Wow, you really don't want to make T'Challa important, huh? Okay, let's see what's going on here.
I mean, I'm gonna cut it from. Oh, I kind of want to hear what everybody else has to say. But I wish they would have went back to the beginning of the interview, the part that we listened to, because he clearly said, you know, they wanted to get rid of this character a long time ago. So this ain't nothing new for them. They wanted to end this character and have Casper Cole go on and be a character. They've been trying to get rid of T'Challa. This ain't nothing new. And I think that's the bigger issue. Is Marvel never really fully, we care about this character more than the company does.
Thanks.
I heard Darius was at the shop. And
what's up, Jabari
like,
Muhammad?
I'm here for the figures, but White Panther, sign me up.
Indeed.
It's on your pull list? Damn.
That got me back into comics. I was like, this is a must. I gotta do
real?
it. Oh, yeah. That was just the other day.
Who would you ship the new to Colonizer with?
No, that wasn't real. I don't give a damn about this. That's why I haven't given it any energy. I do give a damn, but I'm not giving, like, no, not doing it. And I wouldn't.
So what do you think the twist is? He's obviously lying about this being T'Challa's son. So where do you think it's going?
I just kind of don't care. Sorry, that's not a fun answer, but yeah, sure, do whatever you want to do. Something stupid happens in comics and crazy and wild all the time.
He created White Wolf. T'Challa, as far as we know, and I don't know if he had any white partners that were prominent enough for him to have impregnated her and then leave and then never know about the kid.
Who was the white lady that they're saying is that? What's her name?
It was like Nikki or something like that.
Who is she? Where is she from?
Who knows? I don't know, bro. The first thing I heard was
out here
Monica
just
Lynn,
on a mission, just slinging it.
because Monica Lynn is actually in the book, but I don't think that it can't
What's
possibly
up,
be
American
Monica
Ninja
Lynn's
Girl?
baby. So
It's Ross's son with Nikki.
Who is it?
Ross's son with
Ross's
Nikki.
son?
Yeah,
Maybe.
he just calls him dad because he loves him so much. That's all.
I think it's White Wolf's son. I think that's Hunter's son.
Okay.
White Wolf is a priest character, a priest creation. It only feels like it makes sense for that to be the White Wolf son in this.
I really wish they would have. Oh, I don't know how much of this interview that Chill listened to, but I believe I'm starting to believe now Marvel had mandates when it came to that character. I believe that whoever the editor was at Marvel, because how you go force this man to write Casper Cole? And that's just one character. If he was forced Casper Cole, who else was he forced? Who else was forced on to be in the comic? Oh, we can't make it too black. Let's have Everett Ross for a couple issues be the Batman and Robin to y'all. Oh God. I'm starting to think that Marvel's more of the evil empire that we really think it is. We're talking about Marvel Comics, 2 Marvel Studios being a part of Disney. I'm just saying, if you go back and read Priest's run, who's narrating the first 2 episodes? I mean, the first, what is it, 2 or 3 issues? Everett Ross. You know what I mean? So with Eric Shaw, what I'm saying is that what if the editors? I'm just saying, what if? This is me putting on my what if. What if the editor said there's not enough white people in this, that we need to tokenize it and throw in what's up, Blue? Make sure that y'all like it. If y'all not like and subscribe to the Blue House Live, then something wrong with y'all. Make sure that y'all go in and get with Blue's House and like and subscribe to the channel. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, what if the editor said this too blackety black? This too blackety black. I don't like all this. Remember, this is the same comment that was dormant for 10 years, and they were getting ready to eliminate the character anyway because of sales. And they say, you know what? What we're going to do is I want you to introduce more white people. So Everett Ross, the White Wolf, right? Casper Cole. Because if you don't write it, somebody else will. And Christopher Price was like, whatever, I still got to pay my rent. So white people it is. I'm just saying you can't tell me that because this is America. This is America. That's not out of the realm of possibility that they would do that, especially 98, 99, 2000. This ain't like 2025. 98, 99, 2000 is a totally different time period. Trust me, I know. And I could see them doing that. Nope. This ain't the Icon Comics. This ain't, you know what I mean? We ain't having all this extra blackety black stuff. Yeah, we got a black character, but we ain't making it too black. So we need a little bit more diversity there, big dog. And if you don't, we'll just end the character and get somebody else to write it. Choice is on you. What you gonna do? And you like, I gotta pay my rent, I gotta eat. You go write what they tell you to write. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I went to Comic-Con and I talked to the co-creator of Spider-Man Noir, that is some of the things that the Marvel editors do. This is the reason why a lot of those comic writers and comic artists left. And they just because of money. Look what they're doing to their characters. All right. Afro Nerd Radio. What's up? Thank you so very much for the $10 super chat. This issue, the issue is, will writers/artists post Finger, Kane, Kirby get financial credit for IPs created through their work? Adamantium and Vibranium are created devices and IPs. Just saying. And I'm glad you said so because I just forgot. Rob Liefeld is literally going on an attack on what they're doing, you know, to characters and stuff like that in Marvel, for Marvel Studios, and not giving people their just due. So I completely agree with what you're saying. So thank you again for the $10 super chat. Let me go and hook you up with gangbanging.
Gangbang. You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
Gangbang. Appreciate it. Let me see. If Stan Lee didn't create Black Panther, there wouldn't be any black characters. For real, you're not lying. You're not lying. You're not lying. Let's finish this. See what they got to say, and we're gonna wrap this thing up here soon.
Is to lead back to him in some way, shape, or form.
You know, I had this idea that Christopher Priest was protesting. You guys never call me at Marvel to work on any of your flagship titles, and then finally I get the call, and it's to do what? Black Panther. All right, fine. Hey, you know what? White Panther. How about that?
That feels like what it basically boiled down to. Was I've been trying to get the story off for the longest. If y'all are calling me, this is what I'm getting.
If you go to Marvel's website, you know where they post all the creators, they're really proud of their diversity there. A bunch of people who don't even work there anymore. But look at Christopher Priest, and you look at his works. We've got this from 2025, but he hasn't had we got an anniversary, Marvel's 85th anniversary. He got a little anthology story there. He had, what else did he do? I'm looking for something that's not a collection. U.S. Agents, there. He did 5 issues or something of U.S. Agents. That was in 2020. You know, this great legendary character, legendary writer. Spider Force, he had a little tie-in to whatever event that was. I don't even remember. Spider-Geddon, right? So he got that. He did a book about the Inhumans in 2017. Okay? It was a limited series. Now, are these Hulk? Are these Iron Man, Avengers, X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man? Like, what are the jobs that they only give this guy? In 2004, he had Captain America and the Falcon. Again, you can do our books. Yeah, you can do Captain America and the Falcon. Relegating him to the black characters, which, to the untrained ear, what's wrong with that? It's the black characters. None of the black characters in the top 10. Like, they are so not flagship characters that it is insulting to say we're only going to hit you up for limited series, and most of the time it's to do black characters because you're black, they're black. Here you go. Here's your job. That would be cool if he was getting those jobs, but he was also getting, you also get the right, here's a job for Guardians of the Galaxy or some, build him up. He made 62 issues of Black Panther and sustained an audience. That has to mean something. Even people who don't buy the Black Panther comic book, they're walking to the store. I'm not collecting it, but look, they made it to issue 40, 50, 60. Well, this guy must be an accomplished writer. I know that. Like, that's the ultimate promotion, not the ultimate promotion, but the ultimate sign that Marvel can say that this is a big writer is we give him more jobs and we let him stay. We keep him around. Why do you think he is that guy, though? Chill. Sorry,
I'll be honest with you, Blue. Before,
let me keep going on this Christopher Priest praise. He gets so much accomplished with the Black Panther character. You do sell the omnibuses. It's always returning to the stores year after year, especially after the movie. You got this talented guy, and you only call him to do black characters. I can see why he would say no. Give me Avengers. At least give me like characters I can prove myself. It doesn't have to be Iron Man and Captain America and Hulk and Spider-Man and Avengers and X-Men. But like, can you give me an ongoing series of Moon Knight? Can you give me an ongoing series of Deadpool? Give me someone who I can like prove again for a second time. Maybe I got lucky. It was 1998. Then let me show again that my name, I can keep an audience. Let me do that. And if you're not going to give me that, you know what I'm going to do when you give me the Black Panther character again? White Panther. Here. Enjoy, guys.
the important thing to remember.
So I do agree to a certain extent what he's talking about, but just like what Blue just said in the comics, Priest is a journeyman. So this is not like something that, he does. That's why I was trying to make that point earlier, where Priest is saying, look, I'm here to get a check. I hate to say it like that, but I'm here to get a check. And he just so happened to be so talented that he made a character that was literally getting ready to go to the chopping block. He made a Revenant again. So we regard him in the highest regard, yes. At the same time, Priest is not looking at it like that, to me, my personal opinion. But to answer all the questions, WWBIT is not a canon character, and we got to find out what's going on with this character. You know what I'm saying? All of that, and again, put it in the comment section. Did we judge Christopher Priest too harshly on this? Out of his mouth, it's really Joe Quesada's book. He's just on it because Joe Quesada kind of pushed for it. And yes, it is something that he is a part of, but it seemed like it's more Joe than anything. So are we too harsh on him? Is it warranted? The hate really warranted? Is it unwarranted? Put in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that up, B.
All right, gotta go ahead and get to wrapping this up. I have been on a little longer than normal, but I wanted to get a lot of stuff out and actually listen to this and actually have context. Context when it comes to this world to come, the way we're going to Christopher Priest, so on and so forth. So what did you guys think? Please put in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace and Vampire. See you later on for the Blur AF. Where's my outro at? Look, I'm WWBIT because I want to know who White Baby is that. But until then, I gotta go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and Bob Hire, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.